That's Tom. You know Tom.
Yeah, and there's conferences now that talk about it. There's actually a money conference coming up in Chicago in September 24th called the AMI, American Monetary Institute.
Okay.
And they're doing a money conference there, and they talk about the problem of usury and banking and money the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that group promotes community currencies too. So.
Oh really?
There's
That's something to watch for. September 24th.
24th weekend. Yeah, there's a 3-day conference I think it is.
Now the tables are turned. It's your turn to burn. Now that your cover's been blown.
Just to give you a little background, we had our first annual Usury Free Week in 2005, and the idea was patterned after Education Week. Education Week was conceived way back in the 1970s, and the idea was to teach the youth about environmental concerns that were surfacing at that time. So, and early in the 21st century, we saw the economy as being, we saw the failure of the orthodox economy, and we saw what's happening as an alternative. So
localized value upon that money, as opposed to...
John Turmel came up with the idea of a local currency, or like transposing it to a global currency.
Okay.
And he's and I agree with this. He says the ideal currency to trade globally in the future would be time. A time currency. Because
time currency.
Because every continent right now has 1 hour of time is 60 minutes. So like it's universal, you understand?
Sure.
So all you do is you set up your time currency like this. And I'll give you the example of Ithaca, New York. Ithaca, New York has a time currency where 1 hour of time for basic unskilled labor has a value of $10 American.
Okay.
And in my community, Tamworth, we set up 1 hour of time having a basic 1 hour of unskilled labor had the basic price of $12.
Unskilled labor.
Yeah, just like ordinary unskilled labor.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so all you do if you're a professional is you multiply by whatever factor suits you in the marketplace. So if you're a plumber and you're making like $50 an hour or thereabouts, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then in my town where 1 hour of time is worth $12, the plumber would say, okay, I'll do your plumbing, your labor for your pipes, okay? And I charge $50 an hour in the federal cash market, so basically that would be 4 hours of time.
Right.
Because 4 times 12 is 48.
Right.
Understand?
Yeah.
So he'd say, you pay me 4 hours of time for my 1 hour work. See how you'd work it? You just use the...
Okay.
You use the numbers like that.
4 hours.
And if he said, I want 50% cash and 50% local currency, then you'd pay him like $24 cash, and you'd pay him 2 hours of local time currency.
Local time currency.
And you just break your time currency up into half hour. If your basic hour is $12,
yeah.
Your half hour is $6,
yeah.
Your quarter hour is $3.
This is interesting, yeah.
And your 1/12 hour is $1. You can make all your fractions. It all works amazing. And the reason John says time currency is the one to focus on for the universal trading concept is then when you travel from country to country, you wouldn't be paying exchange rates every time you cross the border. You'd have a universal time currency.
Wow.
Anyway,
wow, that's a total flip for me, because I'm so used to thinking that the Gregorian calendar and this year of our Lord and all that sort of stuff is sort of a manipulation of what we really should be on,
Yeah.
But there is a universal currency already in place, and it's time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just got, if we can figure out a way to use it, and I don't know, if we can explain this to the kids and the kids get it. That's all we need. That's all you need.
And kids get it fast, okay? Kids usually get it fast. Now, and what's going on is there are literally hundreds of communities now out there all around the world that are doing this local time currency. When these local currencies first started, the people didn't have the vision then, okay? And they thought that you could only spend this money locally, okay? And I was at some meetings back in the 1980s and 90s in Ottawa, because Ottawa did have a local currency for a while called that system.
Right.
And they were adamant that you couldn't trade this currency beyond Ottawa. Well, here's what I did. I learned about other currencies in Kitchener and Peterborough and Toronto and Winnipeg and Montreal, and I got to know those people, and I said, I want to join your currency group. And anybody can join, okay?
Yeah.
So I paid them the little fee. I joined their currency, and as soon as I joined their currency group, I got the database. I got the list of all the people in that group and all the products and services they had, right? Now I'll give you the good example that I had. In Montreal there was a lady, and she was offering accommodations a place for you to sleep if you're in Montreal overnight, okay? It was just her house, right? But she had her son was off to college and her daughter was off, and she had 2 extra bedrooms.
Sure.
So she just said accommodation. So I went to Montreal with myself and 2 friends, okay? And because I was part of the Montreal group with her, myself and my 2 friends stayed with her those 2 nights we were in Montreal, and I paid her from my Montreal account, right?
Of course.
Now the other 2 guys were on my Tamworth account.
Okay, so they paid you.
So they paid me from the Tamworth account.
Right.
So all you need to do is have one person to be the link.
You just need the
from
link.
this group to there, and when one person's the link, then you have access to the database, and you can tell your friends, hey, I got the database, you want something? Tell me, I'll go get it for you. That's how we prove that you could do that.
And when it's a system that's based on individual integrity of people, as opposed to, you know, debt.
It's backed up by your honor, by your integrity and your promise to deliver your service or product to the group. Okay, and the point is, it's self-policing, because if you're not delivering your service or product, people just say, hey, don't trade with George, he's not delivering, or don't trade with George, he's overcharging. So it's self-policing. It's
weakness to a capitalist, all of this.
Oh yeah.
But
actually, I do think it's a very good idea that we consider showing film documentaries at homes, in living rooms or kitchens or wherever, even on computer screens. Even if there's just, doesn't matter whether there's 1 person there or 5 people, 10 or 20. It's just to teach people one at a time through the resources that we have now. There's so many resources out there that people can learn from, but they're just not aware of them. So if you've got friends, neighbors, family, working colleagues, whatever, you just invite them to share, come to your place and watch a DVD and Usury Free Week, and just make sure that you're doing it to celebrate this 5th annual Usury Free Week.
Could make all the difference.
Yeah, it's an amazing idea. There's lots of DVDs that I can think that would be appropriate. There's the Money Masters, a DVD that's been made a long time ago about the orthodox banking system. There's Money is Debt 1, and then Money is Debt 2, made by Paul Gringon from British Columbia. There's another video from Isaac Izatan in Montreal called Money, Who Controls It, Who Creates It. Those are just 3 samples, and there's many more out there that I'm sure. The economic times out there are chaotic, and people are looking for alternatives, and now seems to be a good time to get people to look outside the box and try new things. And you know what? We talked about this, okay? And what we're looking at here is some kind of a synthesis of capitalism and communism is what it is, okay? I mean, we grew up in our education system learning that communism was all state control and was all this, capitalism was all the individual entrepreneur, okay?
Oh yeah.
And they each promote their own.
Bad and good.
But if you look at what's going on, the same people at the top of both pyramids are connected. Communism people are up here, and the capitalist people are up here, and they're doing the same thing.
It's only natural. I'm sorry, they don't get together.
But what's going on here with this new concept of local currency and bartering and trading, there's a cooperative spirit about it. It's more of a spirit of cooperation than it is of competition. And everybody's starting to feel their prosperity and their abundance and their different perception of things. Okay?
Basic empathy.
Because they're no longer having to scramble. And because when you're in the orthodox system of debt money, everybody's paying interest on all those loans they have.
Yeah.
And guaranteed, since the bank never prints the interest, they only print the principal when they make loans. If you're able to scramble in the marketplace and work hard, you're gonna earn enough to pay your principal and your interest. But guaranteed, if you do, somebody else is not going to make it.
That's right.
And so what that does in the mind is that makes everybody be a little bit selfish, a little bit greedy, and they'll lie, cheat, and steal just to be able to survive. It's just a survival.
Just for their own survival, yeah, of course, yeah. Cornered raccoon syndrome, yeah.
So when you're working with a community currency that is free of interest or usury free, and you're creating your own abundance, then people say there's a little shift in the brain cells, and there's no longer that motivation to lie, cheat, and steal. So everybody's able to get along in their abundance. You know? It's amazing.
Once you take the red pill, you can't go back.
I know. Once you learn this stuff, you can never unlearn it. You put it on the shelf and ignore it, but you can never unlearn it.
September 2nd, 2009. That's right, Grasshopper Media.
Basically, right now it's set up as an educational week.
Educational week.
Let's get educated. To educate people about what's going on in our real system of debt money, because people don't know about how money is created and what's going on. So, DVDs like Money is Debt and the Money Masters promotion kind of thing.
Money is Debt 2 now that's come out.
Money is Debt 2 is out now too.
Much longer.
Now the table is turned. It's your turn to burn.